Welcome to Merkaba Chakras, where we talk Buddhism in the fifth dimension.
Welcome to another podcast episode of Merkaba Chakras. I'm your host, Vaughn Galtz, and today we learn about the rediscovered ancient energy healing modality of targeting parasites, viruses, and disease with specific frequencies using inventor Royal Rife's Rife machine. Today, the Rife frequency technology is in practice with engineer John White and his Spooky 2 machine. So with that, John, welcome to Merkaba Chakras.
Thank you for inviting me. It's lovely being here.
Oh, I love this. I love this. I have been reading and studying Rife as a modality of frequency entrainment for decades now. And I've been waiting for a technology that consumers can use at home on themselves, that is simple, that's just broken down into simple components that anybody can just pick up and use. And so it's gone through a couple of iterations from different engineers, but I came through the Spooky 2 and looked at it, and I actually ended up buying it for myself. So I'm really excited to use it for detoxing and just for tuning my chakras and just for personal wellness. But before we get into those intricacies, please tell us how you even got into reef frequencies for energy healing.
Well, I've been very aware of frequencies for a long time because I am an engineer after all. But it's really through family catastrophes, family members passing away. And I'm sure your viewers will have felt this as well. You feel kind of helpless. There's nothing you can do except just be a person that's watching. I wasn't very young when I lost my grandparents, but there was nothing at that time I could have done to help them. I didn't like that feeling. And like many people, I looked around to see what was available, and the price tags that were attached to these pieces of equipment really made me realize, gosh, this is not a solution. This is a business model that people have created for illness. They see opportunities where there's been suffering and death. So that was pretty much the start of my journey, where I dedicated a great portion of my life to producing, inventing healing machines.
Wow. So when you first started, were you a fan of Riff? Did you just, when you were coming, I mean, you could have created many different medical devices, but you decided to focus on frequency healing. So was there a specific book or training that you had undergone that introduced you to this modality?
I've done university studies, and I'm very aware of frequencies and resonance. I had done work in developing equipment probably for about a year before I read up on Royal Rife. And just so that our viewers know a bit further back, Royal Rife during the 1920s or around that era was manufacturing machines which scientists at that time thought were not possible.
Mm-hmm.
He invented a microscope that could see viruses, which even today microscopes struggle with. In particular, microscopes that just use light rather than electron microscopes. So he invented a microscope, and with that microscope, he could use his frequency devices, which he also invented. Mm-hmm. He's a remarkable person, to see what frequencies killed the viruses and bacteria and other things. So these two projects worked hand in hand. I mean, gosh, Royal Rife, he invented speedboat engines.
Mm.
He was a top marksman with a rifle. He was a musician. Have you noticed actually how a lot of people that do work on frequency healing tend to be musicians?
My husband's a musician. Yeah.
So
My husband's a musician, and when I was dating, for whatever reason, for the most part, in dating were musicians, and that they never advertised it. I don't know what energy I'm sending out or not, but yes, I have noticed that. Or they're very creative in some kind of way.
Yes, absolutely. And maybe it's that creativity and their understanding how everything is vibration leads them quite often down this path of discovery for healing. Everything is vibration, everything, even thoughts, everything is vibration. It's quite, have you ever sat at traffic lights and then you look to the right and there's a person who's just to the right, just look to the left, we are all interconnected. And the more that I delved into it, the more I came to realize that there was a solution, and that solution at that time was not being realized. What was happening was people were seeing that there was an opportunity to make money. And so you'd get these multi-$1,000 devices, which kind of maybe worked if you're lucky. But the money from those sales of the devices was not ported back into research, it was ported into the pockets. And this was all wrong. So I found out about Royal Rife. I was riveted because much of what happened in his life has happened in mine. And I could see a lot of parallels. When you read about someone, it could be an interesting read, but if you can see that you can get into the mindset of the person and really understand it, that's when it becomes deeper. And I came to realize that this person had a mission that was not fully realized. It wasn't realized because the way that the people say the medical establishment, the way that the drug companies set up things for registering the people that were dispensing their drugs and setting things up so drugs were the sole solution. Now, remember, this is back in the 1920s, 1930s, when all of this was taking place. From then, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 generations, but certainly a lifetime between then and now. Now, people watching this video will immediately think, well, they're sick, they'll go to the pharmacist, get a drug, and they take the drug, then they get better. That's okay. I've got nothing really against drugs, some drugs, but what I do have issues about is the other healing modalities are being pushed to one side. Just recently, I read through the FDA 201 clause for saying medical devices. And I read that and I realized that the FDA have got absolute total control over what people can use, and even for animals. So anything, breathing, they can stipulate what drugs they take, but even more worrying, what foods they consume. For animals, they haven't applied the law to the full extent. But in 2022, which I think is kind of this year, they have added all these little extra things. They may not use these weapons for a while, but it's all set up. So they can tell you what feeds you can feed your pet dog or cat or wildlife. They tell you what you can grow in your garden, or they can tell you what you're allowed to grow in your garden and what you're allowed to consume from your garden. These are things which I always kind of thought naturally were personal, private, and mine. If I want to eat only dandelions, for whatever reason. That's my choice. And dandelions like to grow wild anywhere. So, and they're a fantastic plant too, as a lot of people will probably be aware of. But if I wanted to only eat them, then I'd grow them. But the FDA have now got the capacity, the legal right to say, no, you've got to grow agria potatoes. They can specify right down to the nth degree. And I don't know whether it's a rebel in me or what, but I just don't like it. I don't like someone having the power, even if it's not being used. I don't like that potential being there. But that's the way we have it. So now when people are sick, the immediate go-to is the doctor. They spend their 15, 20 minutes, if they're lucky, with the doctor. I don't know how much it'll be in your part of town, $70, $80 for that time. And then she scribbles on a piece of paper, and you go to the chemist to get that. Everyone knows this routine. It didn't used to be like this, Vaughn. And it's sad that is the immediate, the way that people think now is the way through these generations and the time that it's always been this way. People think it's always been like this. Now, fortunately, there are people that have written books to store in repositories information so it's not lost. Ancient Chinese, where I live in China now, you can probably tell by my accent. Ancient Chinese had methods of healing totally different from Western, as did many Western healing modalities. And without this knowledge, humanity will be we've lost a huge amount of very valuable information. It's important to know that there's more than one way to solve a problem. And yes, drugs are good, but drugs can also be bad. Drugs can be addictive. I struggle to think of a drug that hasn't got a side effect. I do. When you think about even something innocuous, like aspirin, it causes excessive bleeding. And if you cut yourself, you can bleed a lot. If you have internal bleeding, it can kill you, because you can't cauterize an internal wound without cutting yourself open to get inside there. So your stomach can start bleeding. With Panadol, the safe and trusted pain relief, gosh, that was the term they used to sell it by. They probably still do, the world's most trusted pain relief. Well, for a start, pain is your body telling you something, so you should really listen to it. But just sort of focusing on the Panadol itself, if you take something like 10 Panadols at once, it'll kill you.
That is a common thing especially in Western medicine, where it's just pharmaceutical industry is like king, and it's pharmaceutical, heavy prescriptions. It's surgeries. There really is not much healing involved in the medical regimen for personal health. There isn't much prevention. Now, it has changed a bit in the last decade, where they're incorporating meditation and yoga and nutrition and other things that we've been talking about for a very long time in the energy healing practice. Acupuncture is recognized and covered into your health insurance, et cetera, et cetera. Chiropractic is as well, but there's a long way to go, and especially when it comes to sound frequency energy healing, and these modalities as part of naturopathic holistic clinics and being accepted and covered under medical insurance. There is more headway and more research and more application and more testimonies that need to be done so that it can be incorporated in the many different things that we can choose to better our health. Now, inventor Royal Rife was a genius inventor. He was, for people who don't know, he was born in 1888 in Nebraska, USA. He discovered the ancient healing modalities of frequencies. And all matter in the universe holds its form based on its unique energy signature, including people. Everyone has the unique mandala. Changing the form is made via changing its frequencies. So Mr. Rife discovered the holographic nature of the matrix, which we exist and engage with our known physical reality through. Furthermore, study revealed that all organisms, including viruses, parasites, and disease, exist at its own frequency as well. Now, when Mr. Rife applied his frequency machine to scanning the parasites and viruses in cancer patients and patients with various illnesses, he discovered that each illness has its own frequency, which gave it form within the human host. So once we applied its own frequency back to the parasite or virus via the host, listening to its frequency, the parasite or virus killed itself and restored the human host back to good health. Now, you guys can research this all you want. It's all public information, but even the University of Southern California evaluated the technology at his time on its own cancer patients, and they found a 100% recovery within 6 months. Unfortunately, Mr. Rife's healing technology threatened modern medicine and the medical industry that was forming at that time, and his work was potentially sabotaged, leaving him penniless, and he died of alcoholism and a broken heart. However, his legacy continues, and we see it in Spooky 2. So this is a classic tale. It happened to Tesla, it happened to Rife, it happened to many, many other people who are bringing innovative solutions, energy healing solutions, and all of these other things that we talk about to the public. And for one reason or another, the establishment that was making money off of basically the suffering of humanity found some way to sabotage it. So before we get further into these conversations, I want to make people understand that this is not official substitute for medical treatment. So if you do have cancer or some kind of health issue that you have been diagnosed with, this is not official medical treatment. However, it can be seen as supplemental, such as adding yoga or meditation, acupuncture, chiropractic into your routine to help for better and faster healing. So which is why we need more research into this, so that the modern medical establishment, especially in the West, can recognize its healing potentials like they have recognized acupuncture and chiropractic. So, Mr. John White, what do you have to say for people who think this technology is not legit? Because you're going to have doctors who go, yes, and you're going to have doctors who go, this is a bunch of woohoo nonsense. Even though there's plenty of research and clinical trials and research on this.
I shouldn't laugh. I mean, if someone asked a doctor about Royal Rife's work, the doctor will just totally disregard it, say that it's been debunked, fake news. It's you know, it's just a load of rubbish. And I'd say to people to expect that kind of response. That's okay. Doctors have been trained through the medical system that was set up by the drug companies. Mm-hmm. And so this is what they've been taught during school. There are doctors that know better and have delved a little bit deeper and realized there is actually some bit of truth to these rumors that that people have said, but there's not many at all. Okay, early on in when Spooky 2 started, we got a tremendous amount of success with our equipment.
Mm-hmm. What kinds of illnesses did your machine help cure? Can you give us some case studies that you could
I
talk about?
can. Shall I show you on the screen what of
Sure.
some case studies? That would make it easier because
Okay, go ahead.
we got so many that we just couldn't keep track of them. People emailing us, phoning us, writing to us, saying just how much of a change in their health our equipment made to them. So if I could just share the screen, I'll let's have a look. There we go. We set up a web page, Von, spooky2reviews.com, and we started putting down all these feedback that our customers would give us. Then we got a little bit overwhelmed with the volume, so we started dividing it up so we can now browse by disease.
Okay. Morgellons, that's an interesting one. Did you get a lot of Morgellons clients that try RIFE on themselves?
Yes. Now
I thought Morgellons was kind of rare.
Really? Well, no.
No, okay.
No, we've got Morgellons in there. There it is. There. This is the list, which I'd definitely not be able to remember off by heart, but it's just whatever you can think of is basically there. So,
what if somebody got a snake venom bite or poison ivy or some kind of skin illness, such as psoriasis or shingles? Will this work for helping that heal faster?
Well, let's have a look. Let's try a common one. Why don't we look at acne? Because acne is a phase that we all go through.
This is a teenagers or people who are really stressed out as adults.
Well, that's right. That's right. A lot of adults continue to have acne for various reasons. Generally, it's to do with some misbalance in their bodies. And here's even bad teeth can cause acne. And so
let's go through one. Which one is most interesting to you of these cases? Let's click on one of them.
Well, I've got so many, but if we click on cancer, there's when people talk about Spooky 2, you've got to understand, Von, Spooky 2 is more than just one machine. We have a lot of different types of equipment. Different machines are better at different types of problems. When we were developing our Scalar device, we learned of a friend who had breast cancer. So we lent her our prototype Scalar device. And she was reporting back every week the lab results of this mass tumor lump that's in her breast, what it's doing, what size it is, and it kept on shrinking. We went on an American tour to visit 4 states. And on the first tour, she sent us a text message on our phone with a graphic showing that a tumor had gone.
It's good. It's good. Is she in one of these
well, I don't
testimonials?
know, she was a video testimonial at one time, or videos. Let's have a look. There's just so many different it's just, I wonder if it's here.
Right there, bone cancer.
There's
lower lung
plasma. Sure, there's people that have resolved their health problems naturally, without drugs, without side effects. It's out there. But I can't find this one. But there's just so many that maybe it's just lost in the volume of things. She did send us a video where she explains, just how her path. But I don't know where. Let's see if I do a browse for cancer and then I do a search for breast cancer. Breast cancer. wonder if she's there.
Yeah, there's a lot of case studies there from people's video and also written testimonial, and some people were adding their pictures from their lab results before and after.
Yes.
So here's one. Mm-hmm.
That's one, and it was a breast cancer that had turned nasty. It had gone metastatic, so it had gone through her body into her bones. So it's very serious.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just gone. So
yeah,
it's real. And so yes, we have got this collection, this library of people that have found that spooky too solve their health issues. The really wonderful thing, Von, is it empowers you. If you have a spooky 2 device, gosh, I sound like a salesman, don't I? If you have a
no,
Rife
you're fine. You
machine,
have to get over that. You got to get over that fear of being sounding like a salesman, because this is a sales. Wellness is a sales pitch. So maybe that's one of your life lessons. But carry on.
Well, you know, I have, as you know, I'm a Buddhist. I wasn't always a Buddhist. I only became a Buddhist something like 2 years ago. I only stopped eating meat around 3 years ago. So life is a journey full of self-improvement if you choose. Our devices can be part of your self-improvement when you can come to realize that you can empower yourself with the tools to heal yourself. And through that path, as you walk down the path, you're actually learning more about your body, learning more about the disease. And at the end, what we are finding is that a lot of people are then going back and helping others who are in the same situation. Spooky 2's got a huge forum, Facebook groups, and other groups scattered everywhere, filled with people that have been sick themselves and are now offering their knowledge to give people a bit of a head start to restoring their health. And it's really beautiful, you know, to see people that are passing the love forward. People, they're not paid to do this job. They're doing it just through love.
Yeah. You know, John, naturopathic Dr. Gary Cohn testifies that patients in his practice cured gallbladder issues, heart issues, and neuropathy issues using Spooky 2. Also, Dr. Basil Belcher uses Spooky 2 on 20 to 25 patients every day in his naturopathic clinic. And he testifies that his patients are curing blood poisoning and parasites in the blood of his clients. Plus, he also has had many cases where people who were unable to walk have regenerated their joints and veins to be able to walk once more. So, John, please tell us what the frequencies is doing in the bodies of these patients. Now, I want to preface again, all these patients who are seeking naturopathic clinics, these are in addition to whatever medical treatments they're undergoing at the hospital. So just like when you go to a naturopathic clinic, you seek additional supplemental treatments that are non-invasive. So they are not as comfortable doing it on themselves, and so they're going to the naturopathic that's offering it and doing it professionally for them. So please tell us what is happening inside the bodies.
Okay, well, before I do, I fully agree with you. There's no conflict between the use of healing frequencies and regular medical treatments. What we find more often than not is that when the people go back to their trained medical professional for tests again, the they are very startled to see just
Mhm.
how well their drugs are working. They're not
Mhm.
often made aware. In fact, it's probably best not to. They're not aware that the person's also doing other things to try and, heal themselves.
Yeah,
But
and that's a very common thing as well, is I mean, especially like, I mean, I know you being a Buddhist and you go to temple and you go to different, healing temples and so forth, and I go as well. It's a very common occurrence to have someone who is suffering from some kind of illness, whether it be cancer or whatever the illness is, to also go to blessing ceremonies and chanting ceremonies and temple, just to go be in the resonance of the healing frequency of whatever
right.
the practitioner is providing that day, just to be in the resonance, just to be in the field of healing. And so it goes into the power of meditation and prayer and connecting to that field of healing, which is in our definition, it's the crystalline consciousness of the Lord. So what Rife is using is using the frequencies, but that frequency, what is that frequency? I mean, there's different levels, but what is the consciousness of these frequencies? Is there consciousness in these frequencies?
I'll go through the mechanics of it, and then we'll
Please.
discuss the other portion of it. The Rife's frequencies and frequencies from other sources and other types of frequencies that we just broadly term healing.
Mm-hmm.
There's two main ways that frequencies can heal. The first way is entrainment, and I'd describe it like this: if you're singing in a choir, if you sing alone, your voice can be out of tone. But if you're side by side with people that have got tone perfect voices, your voice tends to follow theirs better, because your voice becomes entrained with them. If you apply the correct frequency to an organ, some structure in your body, or even to your brain, to your mind, the right type of frequency that organ should be operating at. Let's say your brain is supposed to be humming along at 7.86 hertz, but it's running at 11. The effect is that you're nervous, you're thinking, your brain is not right, you can't enter meditative states, you can't focus on things, you might even have a headache. If you listen to a frequency which is 7.86, the healing frequency, your brain will gradually become in tuned. Instead of going like this, it'll slowly follow the frequency that's being applied. Now, that's with the brain, with the body, it can be with the nerves. Your nerves are firing away. If you get nerves which are firing in opposition to each other, then you get muscle spasms. You get energy not flowing through your body, if you think in terms of chi. You can open up your pathways through the right frequencies, the entrainment frequencies. Organs in your body, each organ in your body has got a frequency, a natural frequency. It's like its own little heartbeat, if you like. And if that organ's being naughty, it's not performing correctly, it can manifest other health issues. If your kidneys are not working to full capacity, then you can get a buildup of toxins in your body, for example. So you can apply the frequencies for the kidneys, and then your kidneys start detoxing correctly, your urea levels go down in your blood, your pimples disappear, and you get your energy back again. Quite often, health issues are seeded from a very small cause. You can fight the symptoms, but if you remove the cause, then everything else just falls down like a deck of cards.
What is the cause?
The cause, that's right. Well, the cause could very well be a pathogen, which I'll get into just in a minute,
Mm.
or it could be the entrainment where one part or more of your body is not in tune.
Mm.
You think of yourself like a car. A car drives well, takes you here, takes you there. Imagine if I want to keep it simple. Imagine if you put water in the fuel tank instead of petrol.
Mm.
It might still get you where you're going, but the engine is not really tuned properly. It's not running correctly. So what the frequencies do would be to put what your body wants, what your body needs, so that it can run properly. Probably wasn't a good example, but what I would have said for more technical people is if the timing was out, so the sparking was happening at the wrong time, and then the entrainment frequencies changes the timing, so it happens just at the right time. So the engine, takes you where you want to go.
Right.
Properly.
Right. Okay, so we know in Buddhism and meditation, when they've been doing meditation research, they hook the brain up to machines just to see what is the frequency that brain is emitting in different meditative states. Have you done research where you do the RIFE frequencies and also hook up the client to some kind of brain machine to see what frequencies the brain is emitting? Are they at delta? Are they at gamma healing frequencies? Anything like that?
Yes, we have researchers all throughout the world, and we have a research group that did just that. And
what did they find?
Well, the device they used was Scalar, and they found that they could go into the correct brain state much sooner whilst within the scalar field. We have, as part of our equipment, two types of biofeedback devices. It's like an ear to your body, where you can listen to your body and the device tells you what your body is, what it needs. Our pulse monitoring device, when your pulse goes slower, is when you're more relaxed. We have thousands of users who have reported back the effects of our different devices whilst connected to this pulse biofeedback device. It's really lovely to see, and you can train. It's easy to train yourself to start doing it subconsciously. Just lower your heartbeat or raise your heartbeat. Have control over functions on your body that are normally purely automatic.
So in your biofeedback research, have you guys pinpointed which brain waves the person is at when they're doing, different frequencies? Have you got to that point yet?
No, I'll tell you why. For every person, their needs are different. We can emulate the alpha, beta, gamma, delta waves through frequencies because we know those precise frequencies. We can apply the brainwave frequencies and the brain will move to that state. We can use Spooky does a lot of things. Another thing that we have is audio, or that we call it a different name, but we have Frequency Heals website, and we apply through audio means frequencies that the brain requires, because your ear is very close to your brain and the signals into your brain very quickly, just through the auditory nerves. So the best way to, the easiest way and the laziest way is to just listen to headphones through the binaural beats, and you have two frequencies separated by the brain wave frequency that you want to reach. And there is a science there. It's not a woo-woo type thing. If you listen to binaural beats, which have got a frequency difference of the brain wave which you wish to enter, and it might even be the sleep brain wave, then your brain will enter that state through entrainment.
Right, right. Well, let me ask you this about that, because you bring up a really good subject. And binaural beats, anybody can go to YouTube and they can just type in binaural beats for sleep, for healing, and it will play those frequencies over, various nature sounds. But
Right.
do you guys also, if somebody didn't necessarily want the machines, but they just want the specific frequencies in which they're working on, do you guys have pre-recorded frequencies for different things that they can download or they can listen to?
Yes, we
Okay,
do.
even without having the machine for the personalized sound healing.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Our interest is not to become, horribly rich. Our goal, our vision is to prevent unnecessary suffering to the world, and you do that by providing these kinds of services. So if people want to have a look at frequencyheals.com, they can download it and play it in their Walkman, the computer. It's best to listen through headphones, because then you get the auditory separation between left and right. And yeah, and we've got a huge number of frequencies there.
Oh, good. You guys hear that? It's called frequencyheals.com. So if you're super lazy, or if you don't have your riff, if you don't want to get the riff machine, or it feels overwhelming or whatever, and you just kind of want to be able to listen to some frequencies for whatever you're working with at the time, just go to frequencyheals.com and pick out the frequency, and then you can just listen to it right there and still get the instant benefit. So people are going to really, really hit that one hard. Now, I actually, John, I have another podcast called CVAR. It's not on YouTube because of censorship, but it can be viewed on uncensored video sharing platforms, which you can find the links on the CVAR playlist in my video library. Now, in that podcast, I had a respiratory therapist or nurse say that monoclonal antibodies reestablished good health for 7 weeks for her. But for whatever reason, she got that shot and it never completely removed the POTS or neurological damage that she had gotten from it. So it came back. However, in another interview with a nurse who got the shot, she suffered Bell's palsy and neurological damage, and she exhausted modern medicine and started supplemental 4-month parasitic detox, and then followed with the recommended RIFE therapy from a local practitioner every single month. Now she's no longer experiencing severe health issues, and she attributes it to the detoxing and the vitamins and the RIFE frequency therapy in which she went through. So John, let me ask you this. Why are some patients or some clients responsive to sound frequency and others are not? Because you have two very, very similar, but one responded to it very, very well.
Sure. The difference could well be the equipment that they're using. When you talk about frequencies, you've got to apply the frequencies. Are these frequencies being applied through audio means, through light, through contact mode, electrodes, through, and even how are those electrodes placed? Is it through plasma? Is it through scalar? There's so many different ways of applying frequencies that we can't just say, well, frequency treatments worked but they didn't work elsewhere. They could have been applied differently. So there's that. Also, Von, we are not machines. We're not robots made exactly the same as each other. Every person is different. There may be things that a person may have which are weaknesses in their design, if you'd like to think of it this way, through hereditary, and you can blame your parents and ancestors for that.
Yeah.
Some people may have a predisposition to migraines, for example, but someone else may not. And they might find that eating a certain food brings on the migraines. Well, it's not the food that's doing that. It's just a weakness in their design. It's why I do encourage people to research both their family tree, find out what their grandparents and higher up if they can, what kind of health issues they had and prevent them through health, diet, and supplementation and other means. But also environment's all different. Maybe the person's living in a high EMF area, maybe 5G's blazing away silently a couple of fields away from their home. Maybe they've got high voltage lines in their home, producing an overall blanket of poisonous EMF, which is pushing down on their health status, making them so that they're more susceptible and can't heal fully. Maybe the foods they eat during the day aren't quite ideal for their health problems. And finally, the frequencies themselves. Maybe even though the symptoms are the same, the cause, the healing frequency is slightly different, in which case they really should start looking at doing a biofeedback. So you get the customized frequencies, the ones which have got your name on them.
Right. So for many people, they can try frequencyheals.com and listen to the pre-recorded frequencies for whatever it is that they're interested in seeking additional healing from. But if it's more extensive, they need more personalized. And that is where getting your own machine and working with the software is more customized to your specific frequency DNA. So, you mentioned something about the 5G frequencies. There was an episode I did with FLFE, Focus Life Energy, and they send a frequency of 500 or above frequency to your home or any inanimate object. And what they found in their research is it helps neutralize any negative cellular frequencies that could harm your the people living there or kind of affect them negatively, but it neutralizes that. So you guys, if you are concerned about the 5G frequencies and anything about that, check out that episode on FLFE and how they send healing frequencies to your home. But also, if you are going through your own personal healing journey, the RIFE machine may be something that you look into for your custom healing. So let me ask you this, Dr. Zandre Botha recommends the RIFE therapy for DNA and ATP repair if people are experiencing mild symptoms from any vaccinations or medications. And like you said earlier, none of them are without any kind of side effects. There's always going to be some cases. Now, gynecologist Dr. Christiane Northrup, who've been on Oprah many times, recommends those that suffer adverse reactions from any vaccinations, including the COVID shot, to use sound frequency healing in the Schumann resonance of Earth, which is 432 hertz. So what does the RIFE frequencies do for people at 432 hertz?
At the lower frequencies, we're looking at entrainment. Okay, you've covered a lot of ground. The Schumann resonances, it's more than just one resonance frequency. It goes from 7.83 right up to, it doesn't go, well, it does kind of go into the hundreds, but the size of the strength of the frequencies is less at the high frequencies. The main one is a 7.83 or 7.86. It fluctuates. We were born in this natural frequency. Thousands of years ago, our ancestors were born in that same frequency on Earth. Just so people understand, the Schumann resonance is the natural frequency it takes for the sound to work its way around the globe and then bounce back again. It's like a ringing. And Earth, the globe, is like a giant bell. The striking of this bell are storms that happen in different places and different localities. And the lightning strikes, setting up this ringing. That's the hammer that hits the bell.
Oh,
if you
interesting. John, really quick. So are you saying that, okay, so you have the globe who is resonating at certain frequencies
yes,
of the Schumann resonance, and
mm,
you're saying the different natural thunder lightnings on this
yes,
part of the planet
yes,
and this part of the planet and this part of the planet,
yes,
it's creating some kind of tuning.
yes, precisely.
Okay, it's great. Okay, so it's just kind of like when you try to tune your body and they use tuning, onto certain chakra
Yeah,
points.
exactly.
They're trying to tune your body to a
Yes,
specific frequency for wellness. It's the same application.
you've just stolen my thunder with it,
We're
pun
just talking.
intended.
We're talking about thunder.
That's precisely what it is. And so this is
Okay,
the tuning
I
fork on your
love
body.
that.
It's applying the human resonance frequencies. So it's very wise and prudent advice to return your body to a natural state. You want it in a natural environment. Now think about it, Von. Most people spend their lives in a house. They haven't got their feet on the earth, barefoot.
Mm-hmm.
So
Some people
I
live
live
in
in
cities with no trees and no grass.
dark. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, I know I'm
if
not a
you're
city girl, but some people love that. So how can people who are living in those concrete cities get a little bit of of that connection to
the
earth?
natural state, well, find some way. If they aren't, if there's no bare, clean dirt around, that they can take the shoes off and just stand there and just feel the natural healing energy that actually pervades everywhere. You can apply the natural frequency of the earth anyway, the human resonance frequency. And you can do
Mm-hmm.
that through many ways. Probably the most natural way of doing it for the Spooky 2 devices, either using the remote,
Mm-hmm.
because we can treat by remote, or by using the Scalar device. The Scalar is a very natural and it's naturally healing type of field.
Okay, so let's talk about scalar really quick, because I know people we're saying words and not everybody's listened to any of the other episodes, because there was another episode on scalar light energy healing with another doctor as well. But scalar frequency, define that really quickly for people who do not know what scalar frequency is.
Sure. Okay, if you want to understand scalar energy, you'd have to unlearn a lot about what you've learned about frequencies, because scalar is not moving. It's like a giant soap bubble. We generate scalar using a pair of devices, and the field gets created between the two.
Mm-hmm.
If you could see this field, you wouldn't see the frequencies going up and down. The whole field is like a giant soap bubble, and information is passing between the two units.
So there's two bubbles. You said there's two bubbles?
There's one bubble.
It's one bubble.
Two
Okay.
units creating it's like a zeppelin.
Okay.
A giant zeppelin. The further apart you have these units.
Within the same bubble, right?
Okay. Here's unit number 1 and unit number 2. And everywhere where my nose goes is where the bubble is between the two. Okay. I need a third hand to show you. I'm just running out of hands.
It's okay. I try to be a little visual, because for the people who's listening to the podcast on audio, they're trying to visualize this conversation that we're having, and they're not seeing the hand gestures and everything else. So
we have a sales site. I was wondering, maybe I could show this unit on the sales site. Is that a good idea?
Yeah. Go ahead. Bring it over. Okay, and while you're pulling that up, I want to finish this part about Dr. Christiane Northrup recommendations. Okay. The other thing that she recommends is 528 hertz solfeggio frequency, which is commonly known as the 528 miracle tone. So what information do you have about that frequency for healing?
There's a smorgasbord of healing frequencies. 528 is one. There's others which are equally as profound. These are all frequencies which for whatever reason, perform miracles. There are a few, even simple rounded numbers like 10,000 is a very, very healing frequency. And the slower ones as well, like the 7.83 frequency.
Well, before you show us what comes with the machines and we discuss the machines, let's get this. I can hear this in the back of my head because people are starting to get a little bit confused. Let's explain really quickly who does the healing using these frequencies. What consciousness does the healing within these people?
That's a really good question. The machine isn't the pure healing component, for the same reason that we're not a robot. So we don't fix us with a screwdriver and then the job is done. Our soul, you can't see it, touch it, feel it, but it's there. Our soul is the most precious thing that we have. With healing, the intent is a large portion of the healing process. You can heal without any machines, through intent, whether it's through use of Ho'oponopono or some other prayer. And a lot of people know the power of prayer. There's no machines involved. There's no actual frequencies involved as such, but I'd argue that there are, but on a different level. But the intent is...
Yeah, well, the intent, I've done episodes with the Ho'oponopono Keala with some Hawaiian aunties, and I've done, episodes going over intent and other chanting modalities, etc. When they do research in these various modalities that aren't using any kind of pharmaceutical or any kind of technology such as RIFE or any other technologies, they are putting these people's, studying their brain and their heart and seeing what is different, what's happening when they're in these states. And what's happening is oftentimes they do a lot of this in meditation research. What's happening a lot of time is that they're going into delta and gamma brainwave frequencies, and it is a non-local consciousness frequency, almost a non-identifier frequency. You can call it the God frequency if you want to. It's a universal field of just a field of consciousness, and they're going into the high states. And so when we're talking about people as energy, okay, so we're going to get really metaphysical.
Okay.
We're talking about people outside of the avatar. So your avatar is John White, wonderful you. My avatar is Vaughn Galt, and we are built in these avatars for the intended purpose of living out this life excursion. Okay, life experience, however many different sojourns we decide to do within creation of all of existence. That's up to us on a personal level, because there is existence outside of the physical. Okay, our souls exist in multiplicity outside of physical bodies, whatever the body decides to incarnate as. So, that gets into the whole soul planning and life lessons and all that. It's a whole different separate topic. But so we are energy beings embodied in this vessels that we are. And the vessels that we are a reflection of our energy. So they've done research in studying the aura field of human beings and found that unhealthy human beings have low frequency, healthy human beings have high frequency. And they found when they do research in different chakra points that certain chakras are out of balance, and that happens to be oftentimes where the physical illness is sitting in their body. So there's a correlation to us as energy beings and our physical vessels in which we embody as well. So whether you do healing through non-technology means like chanting, meditation, prayer, etc., or you're doing it using machines, brain research and heart research has found that much of the same places light up, which is that high non-local field of consciousness. It's the field, and that field has is interconnected in everything, in everyone. So so just to kind of get that explained for people who are going, I don't get how this is related to our energy field, and how our energy field is related to our bodies, and how our bodies is related to our consciousness and the outer world in which we live in. I mean, this is all a consciousness experiment. So I just wanted to explain that again for people who this might be new for, so they can kind of wrap their mind around how these frequencies heal the body. Okay.
Yes.
Do you want to add anything to that?
I do. Now, as I mentioned earlier on, I live in China. I visit a lot of temples, both Buddhism and Taoism temples. And I have seen miracles. I have seen in a mountainous temple, a lake with fairies. It was incredibly bright with energy, like orbs and like skyworks, I suppose, fireworks. You could sort of describe it like this. And all it was is just the I don't know all it was. But it was a very spiritual moment. On a physical level, everything around you is you. That's everything that you perceive, everything that you think, everything, problems which are unrelated to you are you. This is the concept of Ho'oponopono when you ask the divine for forgiveness, because it's you're accepting the blame, if you like, and then you just ask the divine to make the reset. But I've seen things which most Western people would not have the opportunity to see. In China, there are immortals. We're not talking about people that live to 127 years old. We're talking about people that live in their thousands.
Okay, and talk about these immortals a little bit more.
Well, I thought I'd mention it because it's got to do with health. They wouldn't get to a very old age just through living a normal life. What they do is obviously they're monks or priests or very important, but they follow a lifestyle. It's a very clean lifestyle. They realize their focus on energy flows through their body, on the chi flow, and as well as having a healthy diet. The Taoists in particular put great emphasis on longevity, and they've come to realize that everything is them, not like in an egoistic kind of way, but they are responsible, and they can through their mind do things which are absolutely incredible.
Can you give some examples? Okay, so this is gonna get again even more a little off topic, but very metaphysical and related. You have these people in China or in Asia that claim to be, hundreds of years old, or even over 150 years old, for example, which is a little bit more acceptable than hundreds of years old, but regardless, more than a normal lifespan. And there isn't a lot of documentation to kind of, prove that. But as we are in the information age, you can go back to pictures and physical documents of people, and then moving forward, we'll see how long people's lifespans are. But the thing is that for these people who you say live hundreds or much long periods of time, what is the benefit living so long when your loved ones and children pass away?
You have to do a mind shift, Vaughn.
Mm.
Death isn't death. Death is a renewal. You don't. This is what happens when you die is basically the crux of the matter, isn't it? Now, if you're Christian, you die, you go to heaven, and then you spend the rest of your time up there. So I guess heaven will be quite crowded by now for the lucky ones. If you're Buddhist, you become reincarnated, or you can enter into different places. There's 7 heavens, and even that's not the top level.
Well, you can go just to nirvana. Just go to the spiritual emptiness of source and just be in bliss, eternal bliss. You have to let it go, even your identity. In the reincarnation, you got to let go of the reincarnation.
When you realize that in death you're going to be renewed in some way, if you live your life properly, then you're going to become a bodhisattva, or if you're very lucky, you go up in stages, or you can go down. So that people that might come back as an animal if they've been a little bit naughty during their lifetimes. If you realize that that your life now is just a small part of your overall experience, then you don't fear death.
Mm-hmm.
You're not sorry for death. Of course, you welcome life, so little children and things, but that you look through things with different eyes. That children are, if you understand reincarnation, then you realize that children, you can see traits in them. You think, how on earth did they learn that? Where did that habit come from, or that characteristic? Mm-hmm. It's really strange. And there's, when you come back, life experiences are wiped from previous lives.
Mm-hmm.
And this and that, we're entering.
I know. We're going really off topic, but the question comes to mind, and this is a personal question. Everybody has a different answer for it as well. Is like, yes, as you get more and more into higher levels of consciousness, and as you become more conscious of the holographic nature of reality and our bodies and ourselves, and how our intention and consciousness create the outer world as reflections of our level of consciousness, yes, you will live healthier longer. But then it goes into the question of your body is still going to age, and it's going to get very, very old, and you are probably going to, even though you achieve this, you are going to be saying goodbye to your loved ones and your children. And for some people, their heaven is around the people they love. So they may not want to be around when, that in hundreds or thousands of years to see one generation and so forth. So I know we're going into very, existential questions, but I've met family or people who have lived a very, very long life. And that's one of the things that come up as they exceed 100. I watch all my family, my friends, and my loved ones pass on, and it's just me. Is this a curse or is this a blessing? It depends.
You've got to think of things in a different way. When people die, they don't die. In life, you've got to let go of desire. One of those desires is to have friends and family around you. But if you don't have those strings attaching you to these, then there's no loss when someone passes. It's not becoming cold. It's becoming more knowledgeable. The purpose of life is learning. Through each life that we have, the karmic balance has good points added or points subtracted, and this all reflects in your next life. What I believe is this one: like in this life that I'm having now, and I'll try and live it as long as I can, I am going to collect as many karmic points as I can, which means saving as many lives as I can. They can be human lives through the Spooky 2 equipment, setting free the live animals that we do. It can be through our charity work, which we have. We've set up charities which are now global. So anyone that buys our products contributes to this charity. And so that's passing the blessings. If someone in doing that is adding ourselves and myself karmic blessings, it means in my next life, I'm either going to go up to the next level, or the life I'll lead will be a life of luxury, which I can use for the right or wrong reasons. Okay, I might be born with a silver spoon in my mouth, but if I choose to give everything away to better humanity, then I've got a really good chance of entering nirvana.
Yeah, that's a common Buddhist conversation. It's always by the next life, always by the next life. But sometimes we have to refocus on this one that we're present in right now.
That's true.
Which is the lesson of living in the present, because the present is a gift. You and we are going into the Bodhisattva Buddha conversations. We're having this debate about existential questions. Let's get back to RIFE.
Okay.
But that is definitely something in which many people ask, as even I'll speak for myself. I know I would probably live a pretty long life, but I do not like pain. So how much I live should be preferably with less or no pain as possible, because I am not a pleasant person when I'm in pain. As many people are. Some people are in pain and they are still pleasant, and God bless them. I don't know how they do it, because I couldn't do it. But that's my Achilles heel. I don't like pain. So when the pain, if my body gets to the point in aging where the pain is not tolerable, then I am happy to turn over into another experience, whether that's in the spirit world or whether I choose to come back and have another one of these experiences. That's between me and my pre-life planner in the spirit world, what I want to do. But again, I'm only focusing on this life and the information preview to me. Once we integrate to the other one, we'll get the rest of the picture and then make a decision then. So
okay, but it's you did bring up a couple of interesting points. Now, first
yes.
of all, we all get old, we have pain. Why are you associating pain with old age?
I think that is, well, that's true. You can be in pain at a young age too.
No, that's not. No. Why bring pain into the equation?
Pain is usually, in my understanding, pain is your body telling you that something is off.
That's right. Exactly.
Okay.
But why does it have to be that way? I've seen with my own eyes a woman that is, well, at that time she was 70. You'd look at her and think 25, maybe 26 at a stretch. People, I've already mentioned about the immortals that live into their thousands. There's, you've got to remember, hundreds of years ago, there were no birth certificates, and cameras were really thin on the ground as well, and mobile phones, oddly enough. So the proof is hard. But this one person had written historical evidence from his school days to when he passed away at the age of 276. And that was a proven case. He was a very tall man. Cases of these immortals that live into their thousands, they generally practice and keep away from civilization, if you want to call that civilization. I call it something different. I call cities and modern life not really that civilized. Just watch the news for 10 seconds and you come to realize. But I'll use
It's an exercise. It's an exercise in consciousness evolution. So one of the you as well as I know the very first noble truth is acceptance, and that is accepting people's journeys. We might not agree with it.
That's right, but they're happening.
But they're happening,
So,
and love is accepting their journey with all its pitfalls and chaos.
So these people are they keep themselves in caves and mountains. They've got their temples built into the cave. But this is what they're doing. But they're people that are living today that have been around when Jesus was born. They're living today.
Have you met any of them?
No.
Have you heard? So what wisdom do they have for us living right now, trying to live in good wellness?
I've seen mummified remains of mortals, people that live thousands of years. I've seen bodies of these immortals that have kept in their same state without decaying, and they weren't mummified. They have entered a posture, accepted death, and kept in that posture for forever. So, and I've seen that with my own eyes, and I've seen photographic evidence. So take that for what it's worth.
Okay.
The reason that they haven't become public is because of their faiths, because you cannot strive for something physical like immortality purely in a physical realm.
Yeah. It is completely spiritual. I wonder what level of consciousness they're resonating at. Do you know?
What level of
like what frequency level are they resonating at? Their consciousness.
I think we'd be doing them a disservice if we just put a number.
Really?
Oh, sure. That'd be it's like this, Von,
because the body can only handle so much energy.
Okay.
Right?
Von, yeah, sure. But think about, but then you talk about energy level rather than frequency. And frequency is singular. Just think of your favorite tune right now. Just have it play in your head. Okay, now I'll ask you a question. What was the frequency?
I don't know.
That's right. You can't answer. For a start, it's a lot of frequencies, but combined, it's more. It made you happy. And yeah, you can't do that. And it's like the question you asked me, you put me on the spot. What was their frequency? But I'll tell you this, though. There's things people can do on a purely physical way that can stop you from aging anywhere near as fast as what you're aging now. And Spooky 2's got the tools to do that as well. It's got the program, the presets. You might have seen one of the presets.
Yes, let's look at the machine. So you got screen share. Go ahead and pull it up. Let's go look at the machine. So I would love to do a Buddhism. John, I would love to do a Buddhism debate with you.
I'm sure it wouldn't be a debate. We'd be on the same channel.
We'll be on the same channel, but we would have a different perspectives. I would love to do just a strictly Buddhism discussion with you on Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, on what do you accept, what you do not accept, what's tolerance, what's not tolerance. We will go over the concepts because
it's interesting. I was born and raised a Presbyterian, went to Sunday school and everything else. Now, what I've learned, just so our viewers can understand me a little bit better, I'm not disregarding Christianity. It's real, and God is real. But the picture is just a little bit larger. That's all. So I'm still a believer in God. I still go to church. Well, haven't for a long time because the pandemic has locked me out of my country. My other country, which is New Zealand. But it's a big picture, and Christianity is certainly valid and good and everything, but it's not the whole picture. Okay, so products. Okay, this is our main sales site, the spooky2-mall.com. I'm looking at the kits where we
Mm.
have all the hardware sort of all collectively added for the basic needs of people. The starters kit has got the frequency generator. This is the brains of the kit. Hand cylinders. There's a boost to make the power more. There's a remote unit. TENS pads for sticking the electrodes onto your body, and various wires. There's also a cold laser as well, which is quite a useful item for cleansing your blood. And the kits go up. We've got a 2-generator kit.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes all the way up to our majestic plasma unit, which
Right.
has the option of either the phanatron tube, the round tube, or the straight tube.
Right. There's quite a variety of kit options, and they can go from like $350 up to $3,000. So why would somebody start with the starter kit at $345 versus the $3,000 one? I mean, what's the difference?
Oh, well, I think it's important to provide solutions for people that even haven't got deep pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes someone may be a bit hesitant, wondering, will frequencies heal? I mean, let's find out. So what's the least amount of money that they can spend
Mm-hmm.
and getting something that can heal? And so this is why we've put together this kit that's quite cheap.
Okay, so now what's the difference between the introductory kits that have one of the generators versus 2 of the generators? What does 1 generator do versus 2 generators in a kit?
You can apply more than one frequency at one time. With 2 generators, you can, some diseases require more than one signal, especially Morgellons, which is quite a complex condition.
Okay. So, I mean, so I was reading the manual. 1 generator can do the healing or
Yes,
tuning, and 1 can send that frequency, and 1 can do the killing. You guys call
that's
it
right.
killing, the targeting of the specific frequency that is like the parasite or
That's right.
or the bacteria. So is that the common use for 2 frequencies versus 1?
That's common and recommended because as you, one thing I didn't mention up to now is the other thing that frequencies do to heal. That is to stop a pathogen. It can be a virus, bacteria, fungus, a macroorganism like a worm. It can vibrate them to death, if you like, shake them to death. Now, when you shake something to death, you've got to get rid of the body, hide the carcass. Your body's got to get rid of it.
Uh-huh.
And your body has already been battling that pathogen, and now it's got to try and get rid of it. It's tired, it's weary. So the other generator helps your waste organs remove all these toxins, these poisons that have been released by these pathogens.
Okay.
So
So
it's
let me
very
ask you
important.
this. Let me ask you this. So we know, and people can do research and find plenty of university articles and scientific journals on the parasites and pathogens and toxic elements in foods, in the air, in the water, in medications that might be, toxic for somebody. Just you name it. So a life without toxins here on planet Earth right now is just very, very hard to do. So whether you come across a parasite or a virus or a toxin in any of the things that I brought up, Spooky can be one of the tools that you use to kind of cleanse your body of those toxins that are causing those negative symptoms that you don't want to experience. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you guys hear that, especially for those of you who are going, I think I put something in my body recently that is not working well with me. I think I might have somehow put a toxin in my body. How do I get rid of it? Does Spooky 2 have some kind of detoxing regimen to kind of help detox your body of the energy of parasites or of anything negative that could be harmful to you?
Absolutely. Now, the process of detox can be quite complex. What Spooky has done is create presets. So you select a preset to perform a complex task, and this complex task can be a series of steps that can take place over hours or days or even weeks. We have a terrain protocol, which is an 11-day treatment program, which you can run using your remote unit, so you don't have to be connected to anything.
Mm-hmm.
The information from this preset is sent to every cell in your body. The organs start, instead of being arguing with each other or just in random movements, they start working in unison. They start becoming more effective, each organ, in removing these nasties. And the preset starts from the basics. It might be the mercury from your fillings, the amalgam. It can remove the mercury first, then it goes on to the
Well,
the
now what if
calcium.
somebody has fillings in their teeth? They don't want it to come off. So,
It doesn't remove the mercury that is stable in your tooth.
oh,
It
okay.
removes the mercury vapor toxins that have entered into your body and
Okay.
become part of you. So the mercury that's inside your cells, it removes.
Okay. And let me ask you this. There's a lot of detoxing supplements and over-the-counter detoxing regimens that people buy to kind of do a cleanse and a parasitic detox once a month, once a quarter, whatever the routine is. Could somebody try that first and then try doing the RIF technique on a periodic basis just for tuning and just to make sure that they're in good frequency health? I mean, what do you say about
Absolutely.
combining detoxing regimens?
Well, I'll make a confession here. I'm a fan of it.
Mm,
I don't. It's more than just tolerable. It's recommended. You know, when you go into battle, and make no mistake, maintaining health is a battle. It's best to approach things from a multitude of angles. It can be through supplementation. When you think about a health issue, let's say you've got diabetes, okay, you lose weight. That's not the only thing. You start losing weight, you go on a diet. That's not the only thing you do. You also you'll change the foods that you have so they're more slow release sugars. And then you also can use supplements like berberine, which are magic for maintaining sugar levels in your blood. You do things from multiple angles, and your chances of fantastic, rewarding success becomes much greater. So in this example that you're giving, yes, supplements, absolutely. But I would tend to, because toxins, it's important to get them gone as soon as possible. As soon as you start the supplement routine, you might use some EDTA as a chelation agent on your body, maybe activated carbon. While you're doing that, you can put yourself on the terrain detox protocol. So you have two simultaneous things that you're applying to your body to get rid of these nasty toxins. And you'll find that the result is going to be markedly better than one alone, generally.
Yeah, especially right now, a lot of people are really concerned about just cleansing their body, detoxing, even if they're not unhealthy, even if they're perfectly fine and they're not taking medications or, uh, dealing with any kind of health issue, they still want to maintain good health so that they can not suffer the consequences of not maintaining good health. So, so if somebody wanted to do just a tuning regimen, just to tune and detox and just keep a good, healthy resonance in their aura field or in the chakra, is there a regimen that you recommend, like once a month for that 10 or 11 days, or once a quarter, or, every day, all the time?
It's a very good question. There's no single one answer. There are people that run the terrain protocol all the time. I do it for myself. As I'm speaking to you, treating myself, and my body is removing toxins. There's no harm.
Mm-hmm.
You
Okay.
can't overdo it, because so any little flick of toxins, whatever it can be, that enters my body goes away. When I went to the dentist to get my amalgam fillings removed, I didn't want to be carrying mercury anymore. I've had them since childhood. Before I went, when I started on this terrain protocol. I did it about a month before going. I started preempting this problem, making sure there's no other issues that my body is having to deal with because of excessive poisons of some type in my body, whether it's heavy metals or biological or whatever. And then I had the fillings taken out. I had them out in 2 sessions, and it was a total non-event. Immediately after coming home from having my fillings removed, each time I took maybe 5-6 grams of EDTA, and then subsequent lesser dosages. So this is where I'm supplementing I'm using 2 different ways to ensure that the mercury that was released when the fillings were removed don't do damage to my body, but they can be flushed out immediately. And I can tell you there was a total non-event. There was nothing, no headaches, no difference that I could perceive when I had these fillings out, because I did it in a thoughtful way. I decided, well, this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to take extra iodine as well. I was very careful by planning things and taking things preemptively. You can avoid disease. The disease can be things which you don't naturally assume would be caused by either toxins or by pathogens. It could be something like, let's say, Alzheimer's. Some people don't realize that Alzheimer's is strongly associated with heavy metals, and in particular aluminium. There's others as well, where you can prevent aluminium from staying in your body by running the terrain protocol non-stop. There's a whole lot of diseases which are caused by things which you wouldn't naturally assume were from simple causes. Let's say you can't sleep at night. You develop a cancer. How on earth can the two be related? No, right? Well, actually, yes, because your immune system isn't at full potential. It's firing on 3 of 4 cylinders. It's only maybe 60% because you're just dragging your finger, just managing to work your way through the day. But the simple fact that because you're not sleeping properly, your body is not fully efficient, it's not strong, and other things that your immune system can normally keep away, they become dominant, and then you develop cancers. Your body can't successfully remove all the bad cells in your body, or the telomerase shortens too quickly because you're not taking care of the things which happen when you get as you age, and by age it means even the age of 0 onwards.
Onwards. Yeah.
Everyone is dying, everyone is dying continuously. Like you and I are both dying as we speak, but we can actually delay or halt that process. And there's things, if you're really interested, there's a preset which stops you from aging as well. I don't know whether you've discovered it, but you can just run that one continuously without any bad side effects, and you'll always have your beautiful baby face until such time you stop it. It is actually quite remarkable how things that people don't realize are possible.
Yeah.
Possible.
Yeah. I don't know, John. I have the baby face, but the gray hairs are pretty telling of my age. I have a vira hair, and I have to dye it every single 4 or 5 months. But a vira hair. I think I actually I was born with streaks of gray hair as a baby, so I already came in old.
That's your story. They're sticking with it. It's
Yeah.
So there are supplements which slow down tremendously aging. There's like spermidine is incredibly good. Problem is, it's incredibly expensive. It's in the thousands of dollars per gram, like really expensive. But Spooky 2 can emulate substances. And this is what's within this anti-aging preset. So you don't have to buy expensive products anymore. So it's a one-off purchase for a Spooky 2 rig. And then you run these presets that do magics, so you can look at your face in a year's time and think, yeah, I'm looking a bit younger now, or I've got more energy. I'm not just living a life, I'm living a life without pain. So that's living a life. I don't believe that a life with pain is a life. This is why I was picking up, what you were saying before, because you're assuming with old age comes pain, and that's not true. With disease and illness comes pain, and with old age, people generally, because they don't do the necessary preemptive things, get a little bit weak, a little bit sick, and then things snowball. With this, cancer can be cured. Let's say if the cancer is caused by lack of sleep, you can prevent that by buying glasses, blue light blocking glasses. So how can glasses prevent you from getting cancer? Well, that's how it can prevent you from getting cancer, by thinking preemptively, becoming your own expert on your own body, on your health. And this is what empowerment is all about.
Right. So you guys, for the listeners, especially on the audio, since you're not seeing the video, again, if you want to look at the video, don't forget to go to the show description. It'll take you to the video sharing sites. But John White offers a wide variety of solutions. So the free solution is going to frequencyheals.com, and that's where you can listen to the frequency specific to what it is you're interested in tuning. And then there's the introductory kit of it starts at $345, and then it goes up to much more extensive, more for like clinical naturopathic offices that are doing this on 20 to 25 patients a day, or different clients a day. So there's a range there, but just for the introduction, if you're interested in the introduction, it's good for just basic, just tuning of good health frequencies, detoxing the body, just fine tuning your energy frequency to a healthy state with the Schumann resonance, with Earth's healthy 432 hertz or 7.83, so that you are in tune with Mother Earth as a being living on her being. So so there's a lot of different options there, and as you get more comfortable with the software, with working with the equipment at home in your little kit, then you can get a little more fancy if you want to. So and again, your kits are for you, but let me ask you this. Is there anything else you want to show us before you stop the screen share?
Well, there is. I wonder if I can show you our scalar unit.
Yes,
because
please.
we did discuss that earlier. Our scalar, this is one of our staff sitting within the scalar field. You can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't taste it. But in the scalar field, you can send information from one side to the other. The information can be from a product, as an essential oil. It can be a drug. It can be anything. Recently, we've added a device that allows audio to travel through the scalar field. Beautiful analog audio. And this is where it gets very interesting, because now you can send chants, sacred chants. You can send any sort of audio through the scalar field. This is where you can connect the generator to the scalar device. That's all and good for the RIFE frequencies, but that's a single frequency, and you can't apply more than one frequency using this method. So we're hearing a tone instead of a tune.
Yeah, this is for the more in-depth user after you've gone beyond the introductory mini kits and you're going in like deep into the spooky 2 technology.
This is excellent for people that do meditation, because even if you just plug the units in, you don't use any software, any other generator, just by the scalar unit, you can meditate in the scalar field and reach depths that you hadn't reached before. For my own personal experience with this within the scalar field was, I slept in the field, and I had my very first full Technicolor dream.
Okay, so what did you dream? What did you dream?
It was beautiful. It was family. It was love. It was a dream that was beyond description. I guess it would have been. I was in the dream as a child, and I had my parents, my brothers, my sisters in a park setting, and it was absolutely real. It was amazing. I had never dreamt in color before. I thought it's just.
And you mean in color, like you never thought all your dreams are black and white before this?
Yeah, I don't.
What?
Are you color?
I've always been in color.
Really? No, I'm the old black and white model.
You old beta. You old beta. You're telling me.
Yeah.
Do people dream in black and white?
Yeah. Well, I don't think colors. I don't think black and white. But when I when I recall what I dreamed, that's when I think black and white. But
wait, do you recall your lucid dreams at all? Do you recall the storyline and what you're doing and what you're wearing and what's going on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and more so when I was in the scalar field. And there's one where I got an important message, which definitely beyond the scope of this interview. But
well, do you want to share the message?
Was it important? Well, let's see if I can talk about it in vague terms.
Okay.
Was a promise that was made to me by a higher being, but I had to make a change.
That's first.
I did.
That's good.
And the promise was fulfilled.
That's good. In color. In technicolor.
It was.
Oh, John, you have to be dreaming in color. Come on, everybody. You just blew my mind. You just blew my mind because I didn't know people were dreaming in black and white. You blew my mind just from that alone.
There's actually a theory where they say that people that were brought up when there's black and white TVs dream in black and white, and those who grew up with color TVs. This is what many scientists say. True or false? I can only speak for myself.
That's a good point too. Well, so do you offer any online courses or registry if somebody wants to be a RIFE practitioner or offer, this to other people? Do you offer any kind of courses so they can learn, even if they want to do it for themselves,
Right. Well, it's one thing to create amazing machines that do amazing things. But you've got to
Go ahead and stop sharing. Go ahead and stop sharing if we're done.
No. Well, I'm just about to show you. There's a website.
Oh, okay.
You didn't know that, did you? We have got a website specially dedicated for training people and training people to train people. So we have trainers worldwide that are highly qualified to hold online courses, offline courses, so you can learn more about the system. Now, this is the formal training website. There we have events. You can find trainers in your area. You can become a trainer. And to become a trainer, there's simple steps you take. And at each step, we then test and ensure that your standards are meeting. Your knowledge is meeting our standards. And a list of all the courses that we have as well.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of those courses really quick, because there's a lot of learners who watch Merkaba Chakras, and they will pick different courses to study and learn.
Right. Well, you've got different categories, new to RIFE, so I guess that's a good one to start. Basic and then advanced. You can filter that. So if you're new to RIFE, you go to there and just filter the results. So people that are new, here we go. Now, this is a training video, which you can view, and it teaches how to, the basics. I'd recommend that, as well as this, people look on the Spooky 2 Facebook groups, as well as our Spooky 2 forum. If you do Spooky 2 Rife for Life, that's our main Facebook group, where people discuss Spooky 2, how to use it, where there's training materials. We put a lot of emphasis on getting people up to speed, so people can become their own doctors.
Right. And again, this is not a substitute for modern medicine. This is an addition, like meditation and yoga, qigong, et cetera. So, which is all the energy healing modalities, by the way. So, so Spooky 2 is a complement to anything else that your doctor is recommending you do for whatever it is that's ailing you. Or if you have none and you just want to just fine tune your chakras and keep yourself in good frequency balance with the earth, detox all those heavy metals and the parasites that you get through food, through air, through water, through any kind of inoculations, whatever it is that you come across in your life, you always want to go through and purify your energy field.
Absolutely. Now we've got Spooky 2, we've got spooky2support.com as well, which is a massive repository of information that you can use to search. You've got videos, you can go to the forum here. We've got a blog which you can subscribe to and get emails. There's no shortage of knowledge out there for Spooky 2 and the use of Spooky 2. With community support, Spooky 2 is really grown. There's, as I mentioned at the start of this interview, people that get well, quite often they want to pass the love forwards. So they've learned about their condition. They want to help other people that have got the same condition. They've become an expert in that condition, and they want to spread the good news on how to fix it. And this is the strength of Spooky 2. It's not necessarily just the equipment, it's the support of our customers that have been blown away with curing health issues that other people have said are incurable.
Thank you, John, for showing us the machines that we all can get and, learn all the different courses. And you're right. The student eventually becomes the teacher, and the teacher eventually becomes the student. So, which is exactly what happens with the spooky clients who get so good at using the technology for themselves that they answer questions for others who are in similar situations, asking, well, if I wanted to try that for myself as part of my wellness routine, how can I do that? So the forums that you have will pair people, or will people pair naturally with a mentor?
Generally, people would post a question, they'd type a question. Any one of our, I don't know how many people, maybe 20,000, there'd be any number of people that jump in. Hey, I know about this. I solved this.
Okay.
You know, and so I can't say whether people will be paired. It's not formal like that. It's a community set up. So when someone is, if someone's in a river drowning, people don't delegate, right, you jump in. The hero will jump in. The person who knows how to swim will jump in.
Yeah.
And so someone will jump into the forum and say, hey, you know, have you tried this? Have you tried that? And offer suggestions. The forum, the Facebook group, that's really magical. I think maybe that's 30,000 people there now. It's an enormous number of people, very, very smart people that are very giving, very generous of their time. So you wouldn't be paired with one person or two people. It could be any of those 30,000 people that jump in and say, yeah, actually, there is something you can do.
Yeah. So there's always going to be somebody to assist you whatever phase you're at. Now, John, I'm going to ask you a last question. Do you have a last message for humanity that you want to leave with?
I've got to boil it down to one. You know,
what's the most prominent one on top of your mind?
Okay. We're living now in a world that's poisonous, politically, physically, spiritually. I'd go as far as to say that as well. We're being bombarded, attacked from many different angles. The way out is to pass love forwards. Pass love forwards in the way of helping without being asked to help, helping friends, family, the people you love, helping the people you don't love is the measure of you, strangers. If you can make positive changes in people's lives, positive changes, collectively, the world become a much better place. There's changes that I want to see in my lifetime. I cannot realize them without all of us doing things together. So it's important, I believe, that we've got to think as one. Our goal is to raise humanity. To do that, we've got to pass love forwards. So that's the one message. There's others I'd like to squeeze in, but I think that's the biggest one. I think that Spooky 2 does that in a big way, because for every sale of everything, we contribute a significant proportion of that to our charities. There's local charities, there's overseas charities. We've got our fingers in every pie. We've got everything from Guatemala to South Africa to everywhere, where we're children that are born and do not know who their parents are. They're living in orphanages. People that are sick and there's no hospital in the area. We're doing all we can to raise humanity, and our customers are helping us do that. When a customer buys something from us, they are also donating, because we donate in their name. When they buy from us, we have their contact details. With products that we sell, we put blessings into these products, because these products will then be used for healing. Our generators, we have Ho'oponopono written inside every generator.
Oh, I like that.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Very important word. So it's not just a company that sells products. If Spooky was just this, I wouldn't be involved. I wouldn't have started from the beginning. From the very beginning, I wanted to prevent needless suffering, and nothing's changed. Now it's become more possible because there's so many people that are aware of Spooky too. And so it's snowballing. So I've kind of squeezed another one in there, haven't I? But
It's okay.
pass the love forward in any way and make the world a better place.
I like that. That's wonderful, John. Thank you for such an insightful interview and introducing us to the RIFE frequency technology for good health and healing. So everyone, I've been studying energy healing, as you know, with many different modalities my whole life, and I've seen good ones come and go. So if this one resonates with your spirit, go and get it. And again, you're contributing to the charities in your name as well. So for more information about Spooky 2 Rife Machine, please visit his website, which is spooky, the number 2, mall.com, and get 3% off the Rife technology using coupon code Merkaba Chakras. And the referral link for the referral link for the Merkaba Chakras incentives are also in the show descriptions, along with the other links that we've discussed as well. So thank you kindly for listening to another enlightening conversation. Until next time, blessings.
Blessings.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Merkaba Chakras, where we talk Buddhism in the 5th dimension. For more information about today's guest, please go to the show description. For more information about Vaughn's metaphysical work, please go to merkabachakras.com. The views expressed today are for entertainment purposes and do not necessarily reflect the views of the host or replace any medical or legal advice. Don't forget to subscribe for more interviews about the 5th dimension. Until we meet again, blessings.